I love discovering cool critters in my garden, and this morning I've discovered a tessellated stick insect, and these for me are really cool critters. I love stick insects because they're so interesting and unusual. Their lifestyle is based on camouflage. They spend their lives disguised as being a part of the trees. Their bodies resemble a stick, as their name suggests. They have angular legs and they put their front legs forward to elongate their bodies so that they further resemble a part of the plants where they're sitting. It's a really effective strategy, and it means that they're really easy to overlook in the environment. I noticed this one because it's feeding, and it's quite unusual to come across one as it's eating because for much of the time they're up in the canopy of the trees. They feed on eucalypts and acacias and melaleucas and lots of different plants. And this species is a tessellated stick insect. So it's a small to medium-sized insect that's about 15 to 20 centimetres long. It's feeding on a Melaleuca linearifolia, which is a tiny little shrub, and has given me an opportunity to have a close look. We tend to come upon stick insects when they blow out of trees in windy weather. For much of their lives, they're up in the canopy, and they use camouflage because they're really vulnerable to birds. There are species such as the Pacific baza, which really loves eating stick insects. The other thing I find really interesting about stick insects is the way they lay their eggs. They flick their eggs from the canopy of the tree down onto the ground, and the eggs are really interesting little sculptural objects which have a food package attached to them, which is really attractive to ants. Ants find these eggs, they take them into their nests where the eggs hatch. Now the tiny stick insects resemble the ants, and they blend in amongst them until they're big enough to emerge into the world where they become independent and then disperse into the landscape. It creates a really safe habitat for the young stick insects to hatch where they're protected by the ants. The other thing that's very interesting about stick insects is that they drop their legs when they're stressed. So much like a skink will drop its tail, the stick insects can drop their legs to protect them from predators. I think they're fabulous insects to have in my garden, and I love encountering them, particularly one like this which is busy feeding on one of the plants in my garden. I'm Catherine Kermode. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for the next adventure from my wild backyard.